Honorable Ashebi, who moved this motion, has manifested in every form and manner the hurt that goes through her with regard to the Chibok girls. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, this is the 4th year that our girls have been under this perdition. And unfortunately, the agencies, as pointed by Osai, that are supposed to superintend the rescue of these girls are busy quarreling amongst themselves. As a matter of fact, there are different...
Please, silence, please.
Mr.
Please,
Speaker,
honorable members, silence, please.
Mr. Speaker...
Honorable Kaugama, Honorable Dawaki, please take your seat. Please.
Mr. Speaker, as at last count,
Honorable Tubosun.
There have been several reasons.
Honorable Tubosun, please.
Mr. Speaker, as at last count, there have been so many reasons given for the Boko Haram problem. As a matter of fact, the Dapchi kidnappers are meant to be more friendly Boko Haram. Then the other ones are the ones that are hostile, that are not amenable to negotiation. But we are witnesses to the fact that some of the Chibok girls have been released. Whatever Midas touch that was deployed in ensuring the release of those ones, we should deploy them. Whatever Midas touch that was deployed in releasing the Dapchi girls, except one, should be deployed in releasing the remaining Dapchi girl, and at the same time releasing the remaining Chibok girls. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, so many reasons have been given, including the last reason being given for the problem of security in Nigeria, which was the fact that because of the people trained by Gaddafi, that is why we have Boko Haram. That was the reason. The security chiefs have given different reasons, apart from the fact that they are quarreling. So which one do you believe? So if amongst all this confusion, how can we ensure and trust that something will happen with regard to the release of the girls? Mr. Speaker, we cannot rest on our oars and believe that something will just suddenly happen. We first have to make sure that our security agencies are up to speed. We need to be properly briefed. We need to have an understanding of what actually is happening. If you see NIA, EFCC, SSS, all of them quarreling, how can you ensure that they are sharing intelligence? Are they sharing intelligence? They are not. And it's a huge problem. My understanding of organizational behavior is that when you have such dysfunction, your responsibility cannot be discharged. And in these things, it's self-evident that it is not happening so. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, it's quite unfortunate. Yesterday, Mr. Speaker, one of the contractors that is doing work in the Ministry of Works had a security man guarding an expatriate shot and the expatriate kidnapped. That same yesterday, the mother of a member of Kano State House of Assembly was also kidnapped. A member of serving in Kano State House of Assembly, his mother was also kidnapped. And you talk about the killings in Benue and Nasarawa, and you talk about yesterday when 5 people were killed in Taraba because the military just withdrew. And when Danjuma talks about collaboration, nobody refers to it. So, Mr. Speaker, there is something wrong somewhere. And that promissory note on security has not, we've gone to the bank and it is empty. It is blank. We cannot draw cash on it. That promissory note on security is gone. So it is not something that we can depend on or rely on. And understandably, Mr. President should be worried about security and the economy, which when discussing with Mrs. May, he said that that was what is concerned. But unfortunately, you know, the declaration betrays that aspiration and that understanding. So we must be minded in the direction and completely focused like a laser on what is the problem of this country. We must not make mistakes. So I share my sympathy with our girls, particularly the member representing Chibok. When you have 100 and something of your constituents and young ones at that, deprived of the opportunity of good living, a right of good living, you can understand how it hurts. And Mr. Speaker, unreliably, we read yesterday that it's only 15 of the girls that are remaining. From one Yakasai, Sakida. That was what I am reading. More than the fact of the rescue, we need to be brought up to speed with regard to the status of the girls. As simple as that. If we are getting that kind of information, we need to be brought up to speed. And it's the responsibility of the agencies to give us that information, Mr. Speaker. So this House have to be responsive. We are not doing any other person's job. If we say the executive and these agencies should give us account of what is happening with regard to security. It's our job. So we are not out of scope. And I support completely the motion, and we should make sure it is implemented to the letter. Thank you very much.